Boom. Good evening and welcome to it. My name is Eddie Baylor. This is Chess and Wine. This is Chess and Wine, and my name is Eddie Baylor. Whichever comes first, it's still the same. Yes, so round 3 of the Olympiads was played today, and what a beautiful performance by South Africa. The ladies team drew against a stronger side, and the open team won 3.5 to a half a point against Ivory Coast, I believe, right? So yeah, that was just a beautiful thing. Obviously, we will have the head coach of Chess South Africa, Mr. Ruben Salimu, with the updates shortly after this. But first,
hello and welcome to the third day update of the Budapest Olympiad. Team South Africa is competing there, and today we had a very good day. We played, in the men's team, we played Cote d'Ivoire, and in the women's team, we played Colombia. I managed to get in touch with the team before they got in, and I've managed to find out that they've got different kinds of walk-in music. Our coach is working in with Around the World by ATC. Daniel Barish is working in with TY Collapse. Jan is working in with classical music, and Caleb is working in with Ransom by Little Tega. Banele is working in with Starboy by The Weeknd. Daniel Kodri is working in with Eye of the Tiger by Survivor. You can tell that's Madala of the team. And then in the women's team, Jessie is working in with Magic by Coldplay. Chloe is working in with Chlorine by 21 Pilots. Robin is working in with Oja Piano by KC. And then Haley, Dear Future Self by Fallout Boy. Davida is working in with Light It Up by Major Lazer. And I mean, you can feel within the team that there's a very positive vibe. They are all eager. I mean, some of them are young. It's quite an opportunity for them to really get some experience. So that's why the results are very pleasing. I think Caleb was the first one to actually strike on the board today. And the men's team won with 3.5 to half against Cote d'Ivoire. Jan was the one who drew. And a very interesting draw, actually, because I think he was much better. Oh, no, he was better definitely at the beginning, but he was taking time. So I thought maybe the position might have been a little bit unfamiliar with him. But he managed to make sure that, he didn't throw away the point, which was quite nice. And it was also very nice to know that the team, obviously, our team is very strong as you go down, so they can take points any of the boards, which is quite nice. So when we meet a team which is, not one of the super GM teams, we really have very good chances. And then obviously Kodri won, Banele won, and Caleb won, and then with Jan's draw 3.5, that's a very good result for us. I think we are pretty much on track. In the women's team, an interesting game which actually I followed was Jessie's game. And Jessie was actually very equal for a major part of the game. And then her opponent, who was much higher rated than her, suddenly tried something out of an equal position to try and win. I don't know if she underestimated Jessie, and she struck. She didn't hesitate at all. And within a short space of time, the game moved from being equal to absolutely winning, and she didn't miss a bit, which was quite nice. And then the middle two boards pulled off a nice draw, and Haley lost a game. And, the opponent was much higher rated in comparison to her, but it's a really good experience, and this is the reason why we actually, are keen for our players to experience this. Coming from an environment where we don't really have a very strong chess culture, this is how we start actually sort of orienting them to what it takes to be the players they want to be. So I'm quite happy, I think, with the results. Tomorrow, the men's team plays Brazil. which is going to be quite a tough match. And then the ladies team is going to be facing Liberia. I'm very confident. I think the ladies team will pull off something. And again, like I said, in our men's team, that doesn't matter who it is. If you're not a super GM team, we've got you. We just need to figure it out on two of the boards, and the rest can come in. I'm quite happy so far, and very interesting to follow up the games. Please send your positive vibes, support the team. This is what the game is all about.
Let me just go back to some things that I've actually, an issue that I raised a while back, which is concerning to a lot of people in South Africa regarding the appointment or the selection of committee and commission members. Obviously, there was first a okay. Obviously, I'm coming back to this because I got a response from Mr. Joe Mahomula, who is a member of the National Council and the president of Chess Limpopo. And the reason we're speaking about this is because there is a list. There's a list of conditions that must be met before, obviously, a province can nominate a person, or before a member can be actually rightfully nominated and accepted, obviously. And it reads as follows. So it became an issue because it seems like the Executive Board of Chess South Africa transgressed these conditions that they have themselves put up, without even making communication to say, all right, so we've made some concessions or some things like this to actually accommodate a certain number of people who we feel we need to accommodate. Because it would make sense if that was the explanation, right? If it was explained in that way, to say, all right, certain people were recruited and not selected through the recommended processes like everybody else. Because the process states as follows: that any province with the constitutionally elected provincial council may submit nominations, right? And the nomination must be signed by both the president and a provincial executive committee member, stating member portfolio. And then I think it moves on to another part where it says number 4, nominees must be in good standing both with their province, with the respective province, and with Chess South Africa. And there's another part that says here's a part which says yeah, all right. So yeah, I think I'm just trying to move on to the part where the province must accompany the nomination with a letter on the province's letterhead supporting the nomination, a letter on the province's letterhead confirming that the nominee is in good standing with the province, a 2-page CV, and so forth. So, but the response from Mr. Mahomula seems to imply that I actually got things confused and I'm unfairly criticizing the executive board. So it reads as follows: regarding the appointment of committees and commissions by executive board, Eddie, I think your video is mischievous and its unintended consequences may have a far-reaching impact on how people take the expo. Now, let's clarify it before further confusion and undue criticism thicken. That's his word. I'm still quoting, so I'm going to continue quoting Mr. Mahomula. So, firstly, that's point number 1 from him. It says, 1.1, the nomination of individual it's not compulsory or to come from their own provinces. So the nomination does not have to come from their own provinces, which was obviously not clear, correct? We were glad that he clarifies that, but it's not our fault that it was unclear. And continues, the nomination can be done by any province as long as that province is in good standing. For example, Limpopo can nominate any individual from any province, including Free State and Eastern Cape. And I'm not saying Limpopo did. It is just an example, he continues. And then he continues on 1.2. He says the nominating province must meet all the requirements of a nominating province. It should be in good standing. Their documents must be properly signed. They must provide a letter confirming that the individual they nominate is in good standing with his or her province and Chess South Africa, which is very confusing now. Because now, how can the nominating province, if Limpopo is nominating someone from the Eastern Cape, confirm that the nominee is in good standing with the Eastern Cape or the Orange Free State? Because now that confirmation letter needs to come from that province, that is the Free State or the Eastern Cape. Does that now make sense? Because listen to what it's saying. The nominating province must meet all the requirements of a nominating province. It should be in good standing. It should be in good standing. That's the nominating province. And their documents must be properly signed, and they must provide a letter But because Limpopo cannot confirm that, for instance, Gunther van den Berg is in good standing in the Eastern Cape, or Janti Mafongo also is in good standing in the Eastern Cape, or Ben Mina or Vinar is in good standing in the Free State. So you see what I mean? So Limpopo can't confirm that. It needs to be a letter from their province that confirms that that person is in good standing with the province. Does that make sense? You see how that still leaves a bit of a lot of questions unanswered. And he said, secondly, 2.1, it is true that provinces like the Eastern Cape and Free State do not have the rights to nominate any individual to participate in committees and commissions of Chess South Africa, according to the notice issued out by Expo, because these provinces are not in good standing. I hope they did not. And if they did, I guess they did so under certain conditions as determined by the executive board. It's another point of ignorance that is assumed that the president, the member of council does not know certain things. All right. So thirdly, it continues and it says at number 3, at 3.1, I think making a video insinuating that there is something untoward done by executive board is in appointing committees and commissions without fact or correct interpretation, as I offered above, especially in this. Okay, now as I offered above, like, okay, the above is still ambiguous in a sense. So as offered above is not really sufficient, especially in this cloud where everybody seemed to be criticizing the executive board on everything. It's not only mischievous, but also potentially dangerous, because not only does it feed the demons of disunity, but also fan the flames of undue criticism of Expo, something we must avoid at all times. Undue criticism must be avoided. But I mean, obviously, am I insinuating that there is something untoward? Or am I pointing out or the fact that there is something untoward? And that is transparency. That is a lack of communication. And that is a lack of involvement of even the council. Because I think there's many of these points that he's making are showing that even him as council member is unaware of certain things. I'm just going to continue to 3.2. It says at 3.2, I'm not saying all of these to defend the executive board, because I don't know what they did to appoint the committees and commission. You see now the funny part, because I don't know what they did. You see now, just confessing ignorance as a member of council on the decisions taken by the executive board. All right, I'm not saying 3.2. I'm not saying all of these to defend Executive Expo, because I don't know what they did to appoint the committees and commissions, but I am only criticizing your video, which in my view is unfair to Executive Board and the whole chess community. All I'm saying and doing is to ask you to always present a balanced and factual criticism based upon correct interpretation of the issue or matter at hand. So, yeah, and then it continues with another fair warning that says, the saying, be careful what you wish for, is an old age warning to prophets of doom. I'm not saying you're a prophet of doom, but just warning you that what you do to others now may be done to you in future. But I mean, in future, would I have a problem with people criticizing me if I was in a position of leadership? Or people questioning some things that have not been communicated with them clearly? Because, you know, the main issue is that there are people that have tried within the Eastern Cape, but have tried to apply for some of these nominations or for some of these commissions and committees, or who have actually inquired and were told that no, you cannot. Eastern Cape is not in good standing. And I'm just going to try and find one or two of those emails where the members of the community were told that, of the chess community. And it's me now that is said to be being unfair to the chess community. It is unfair to the Expo and the whole chess community. I think the Expo is being unfair to the chess community by not clearly communicating some of these things with the chess community. Because I think that's the one main problem. It's this lack of communication. But yeah, so again, I think there's another comment that sort of cements on that, is because the question mainly is, I thought that maybe now if the Eastern Cape, for instance, was they had members nominated and they had to confirm their good standing. It was something that may have been done under the administrator or through the administrator. And this comment says the Eastern Cape couldn't have done committee nominations through the administrator because the nominations was due by 10 July. The Eastern Cape was suspended in 27 June, and the administrator was only appointed on the 24th of July. So you see now how the dates actually just don't actually add up. It doesn't make sense that the province could have signed a letterhead in support of any of this good standing or confirming the good standing of all these members, and the administrator could not have done that as well because it was just before the administrator was appointed, which was on the 24th of July after the closing date. So yeah, it's just that. But you know what, I'm saying this because it's not necessarily that it is a bad thing that these people are in these committees, because we know that, I mean, it would kind of feel weird to have a ratings commission without Gunther. Because we are so used to it. It has a whole record of information that is very useful for. But people still need to know how he got in, because the presidential appointment, it's something that, or co-opting or whatever thing that presidents can do, would still make sense. It's not like anybody would be against it. But it must be clear that certain members are appointed under special circumstances, and those circumstances be communicated. That's basically what it is. Oh yeah, all right. And now that we still have maybe a few minutes, let me just get to this story, a very sad story of how dreams can get crushed by a lack of communication or unclear communication that is much needed in this chess community. Let's listen to this quickly, because I think this confusion with the age groups, especially with the schools chess championships, has frustrated a lot of people, and it has caused a lot of damage than any good, because our understanding as chess players or as people, as a federation, or even as people, there's logical thinking people, we think that when we speak about under 15, we speak about everybody below the age of 15. When we speak about under 18, we speak about everybody below the age of 18, and it kind of includes even an 11-year-old can play in the under 18 in our understanding, because we've seen even in the SA closed, junior closed, we've seen Caleb Leviton, a 13-year-old, playing in the under 18 of the SA closed just recently. So now we've got the Department of Sports and schools chess coming with confusions and kind of changing the meaning of under or below the age of something like that, which kind of closes things in. So here's a story of Mkhitar Joya, this junior player that we've seen doing impressive things at the age of 13 as well. She was playing the national senior ladies closed chess championship. So we've seen her in the junior closed as well, doing some performing beautifully as well there. And now here's a story regarding her, and obviously how dreams are getting crushed by some of this politicking that is happening around. So yeah, it reads as follows. We've just been informed that Mkhitar Joya will not be allowed to participate in the upcoming National Schools Chess Championship Summer Games, a fully funded tournament by DCAS that includes tracksuits, bags, transport, accommodation, and catering. This news comes as a major disappointment considering her outstanding performances in school chess tournament over the years. Mkhitar has consistently excelled in chess. Last year, she won the Cape Town District South tournament with a score of 5.5 out of 6, followed by a perfect 6 out of 6 at the Cape Town Metro Schools Championship, and another flawless 6 out of 6 at the Western Cape Schools Championship, the provincials, right? Despite these impressive achievements, she was left with only cardboard trophies, and there was no opportunity for her to compete in the Nationals, African Schools, or World Schools tournaments. Participating in those prestigious events has been a goal she's pursued since 2021. This recurring situation has dampened her enthusiasm for schools chess, as there seems to be no pathway beyond the Western Cape individuals trials. Despite being only 13, Mkhitar chose to compete in the under 15 section this year, understanding that the under 15 and under 18 divisions offer the chance to participate in a fully funded national tournament and even potentially win a scholarship. She won the Cape Town District under 15, placed second in the metro schools and won the Western Cape under 15 girls section, thereby securing her spot for nationals. However, we recently learned that she will not be eligible to participate in the national tournament due to an age restriction. The National Schools Body has set the eligibility window for learners born between January 2009 and December 2010. Since Mkhitar was born in 2011, she falls outside this range and is therefore disqualified from competing. We are not clear on when this policy was put in place or the reasoning behind the age restriction. It would seem logical that under 15 refers to players who are younger than 15, regardless of their specific birth year. Moreover, this policy appears to be inconsistent with the Winter Games of last year, where players born in 2010 were allowed to participate. With this in mind, we made the decision to let Mkhitar compete in the under 15 section this year, believing that she would be eligible for the nationals. Outside of schools tournament, there is no such restrictions in chess. Players are allowed and even encouraged to play in higher age groups to challenge themselves and foster their growth. Mkhitar has been devastated by this news. She recently missed out on the opportunity to compete in the World Youth Chess Championships in Brazil alongside Amahle due to financial constraints. She also cancelled her plans to participate in the Mojo tournament, thinking the Summer Games would be her next major event. Telling young players that they cannot compete despite qualifying for and winning the required tournaments is disheartening, whether it's due to financial limitations or arbitrary regulations. It's hard to ignore the sad reality that chess governance in South Africa is often marked by incompetence, a lack of understanding of the game, or self-interest. We have lost many talented players either because they simply can't afford to continue or due to political issues within the sport. Running a chess club or developing young talent in South Africa often feels like swimming against a relentless tide or trying to hit a nail on the side or on the tip side. Despite these constant challenges, we remain committed to nurturing our players, but situations like this make this journey far more difficult than it should be. Oh my goodness. This actually reminds me of the opening remarks of my book called The Coach Life Adventures Through Chess, where I actually mentioned something similar, like the challenges of having to tell players who have performed exceptional that you can't go forward, you can't go to the nationals because we can't afford. You can't go to the international event that you've qualified for because there are no funds, there's no money. Let me find that page on the book and read it for you. There it is. You see those words from the author of that article. I'm not even sure if it is Tando because I got it from him. It just reminds me of the prologue to The Coach Life Adventures Through Chess, a book I wrote. I keep advertising it here. So it reads as follows. Have you ever felt like the world and everything in it was against you? Have you experienced the feeling that everything good that you are trying to accomplish will just never come to be because there is an even stronger force of evil working against you, ripping out everything you are planting, poisoning every seed you put on the ground, and just piecing all over your hard work and effort, and that when you look back, you wonder what in the world you spent so many years trying to build? When the kids you have dedicated all your time trying to keep out of negative social effects by teaching chess to are now the very ones who share a bottle of cheap whiskey and rolling weed on the streets corners, finally feeling smarter than they did while pushing pawns. When the same girls from your poetry club that spoke a whole lot of sense while reciting the Psalm of Life and decrying the prevalence of teenage pregnancy are now the same ones pushing bellies, walking around with proof that they are sexually active teens. What becomes the point of ever doing anything positive to effect social change when you have experienced such? Hey, but it's a deep one, and I'm not even trying to get to it. But that's just what I'm reminded of when I'm reading this. Because I feel like once kids become exposed to chess, especially chess, and then get frustrated by it and leave, they become more vulnerable than any normal kid to substance abuse or even sexual misconduct and things like that, because chess makes the brain curious. And once it's no longer there for you, for the kid, then that curious brain just try to explore and try to experiment with whatever is available, especially without guidance. It becomes even dangerous. I remember at one point I wanted to stop teaching kids how to chess because I felt like if there is no clear path that this person is going to get opportunities in life, what's the point of taking them through this? And obviously, frustrating their lives for no reason. Because you give somebody chess, you open up too much in their brain and it just becomes an exciting life. But they become more aware of many things and they just become more aware of life and the world. And then they just start seeing the darkness of it. And it depresses them. And that is why, honestly, I mean, the coaches will agree with me that it's and now in the townships, we've got a lot of kids that we taught chess that tend to drugs and yawupa and all of these other things because of the frustration of not being able to move forward, of not being able to be given the opportunities when they need them. It's very dangerous. And that is why I keep doing, and people can call me whatever they want to call me, but this is the reason why I hate these politicians who are in political office, these administrators who are in there or are in this for themselves, for their personal interest. Because they're the ones that are causing this frustration, this pain, this damage to the kids that we are representing, the kids that we're trying to give a chance, an opportunity, a future, a lifeline to through chess. And there's silly rules, honestly. Come on. Under 15 is under 15. Like 11-year-old, the 12-year-old. I mean, I can understand that maybe the reason is because they don't want unsupervised kids going on national trips. But I mean, isn't that what the team managers are for? The teachers that will be obviously appointed as the team managers to guide, to guard, and to actually look after these kids. Or do you not trust these teachers that are meant to be, that are trusted to look after the kids when they're at schools and now they are going on the trip with them for sports and they can't be trusted because the kids are now, what? And now we've got the Bella Act that is actually allowing these same teachers to take our 12, 13-year-old girls to do abortions without consulting parents. Without the need to consult parents, as it says. It's crazy, man. Like, hey. But yeah, hey. I'm not sure, yes. But anyway, so that's basically it for today. Let's, congratulations and all the best to Team South Africa. And that's why I keep saying Manele represents hope, because in all this odds, against all of these odds that we are confronted with, especially for the black child, we have one Manele to show. And it's stressful that he is still the one person to show at the top. I was hoping that Mr. Charlton will also be there. But we need more. We need more of them to show that we are not working against the tide. To show that we're not pushing that rock up the mountain like Sisyphus to watch it roll back again. And then go back and try again. And push it up one more time. And in fact, this story is inspired by the life of Manele Mangu, the coach Life Adventures Through Chess. You should get yourself a copy of the book. I also have a soft copy for all those of you who are interested. I can just you buy it, I'll email it to you on soft copy. Otherwise, I can just post you one and just understand the frustration that we go through as coaches. It's there. It's actually just there. That's the reason I wrote the book as well. And also to give hope to other coaches to say, even though it's this frustrating, there's some bit of light at the end of the tunnel. From every now and then we get players like Manele who get opportunities and they make it. So keep keeping on, man. Keep keeping on. And Imkita, don't lose hope. We know this thing can be frustrating. So Imkita, keep at it. Excel so much that even the minister or Gaten McKenzie would want to come out and find you at your house and take you to a tournament himself if he has to, or any other minister after him, because you're still young. You're still going to be getting more and more opportunities. So don't give up on it. Good evening.